Well, my friends, we are already on release candidate 2, and I'm finding it very interesting. They say that the update fixes are the most egregious bugs with the release candidate 1 release. It always happens, doesn't it? Every time you put out a candidate for release, something seems to go wrong. It seems to be 2 steps forward, 1 step back. The one that I think was most worrying was where it said that the server dashboard would not show the seed anymore after a client restart. I would not like to lose my seed. There was another one that I know annoyed one of you very much, and that was that you couldn't craft hay bales. And this is one of the people who watch me who plays the, really hardcore version of Vintage Story. You're going to be very happy you can now make hay bales again. There's a lot of tweaking to the berry bushes. There's one thing I think is particularly helpful, and that is that let's come out of here, the berry bushes now show when they are going to update to the next stage of growth. So it doesn't show you when they'll be mature, but it shows you when they are going to grow. And you can see it now says matures within 1 month, and the ones we have planted earlier over here, let's go and have a look at those, make sure they're okay. Yeah. And we planted these, they say matures within 1 month, and the later ones matures within 2 months. So it does show you when they're going to hit the next stage of growth. So that's not when they mature fully, but when they hit the next stage of growth, I believe. Now, berries. Oh, my friends. Apparently the raccoons have not been eating the berries. That has been reinstated so that the raccoons are now going to be berry hunting. This is both good and bad. It's good because the berries will act as a bait for the raccoons, and we can trap the raccoons and eat them and make little fur hats out of them. But it's bad if you raccoons get your berries first. So we have to protect our berries, of course, against raccoons. In addition to that, it says that the bush cutting's chance of decaying to a stick is only 25% as opposed to 100%. So what happens to the other 75%? Now, I've had a look at my cuttings. None of them are old enough to decay. So I don't know whether they just disappear or whether they go into rot. But only 25% of them have a chance of becoming a stick. Disappointment for the also ran berries there. Now, they've also said that a foraging bonus applies to wild berry bushes, to which I say I didn't know there was a foraging bonus, but it applies to wild berry bushes. I presume you just get a bit more on harvest, which should be fine. And also it says that the health state and growth state can be properly localized. Find that very interesting. Does it mean that in some climates the berries are not going to mature as well? That one I do find interesting. If I want to, live in a hot place, I've always been able to grow berries, but they have been affected by the climate. So I don't know whether that had been knocked off kilter and it's come back, but we always have had a certain amount of, climate influence on the berries. If it gets too cold, they could stop producing, and certainly if it gets too hot, they stop producing. So I don't know whether that's a reinstatement or something else. Now, apparently they had some missing freshwater fish. As you know, they have fixed it so that we used to be catching freshwater fish in seawater and seawater fish in fresh water. They've sorted all that out, but apparently there were some freshwater fish missing, which have now been re-added. So we have a greater choice of fish to catch, which is always going to be good. And it comes as no surprise to say that they are still tidying up the traders. It was a very, very significant change to the traders, both in the I mustn't say hovels they live in. My prejudice is showing. It's their choice to live underground. But both in the traders' huts is a massive change, and also the fact that they have changed the look of the traders, and they've made all their clothing much more climate appropriate. But I think there were things like, I noticed that it was difficult to get into a luxury trader because I had to jump over the trapdoor as opposed to walk over it, and they've now corrected that. So these are not huge things, but we are getting closer to a full release, which is fantastic news. Absolutely fantastic news. Well, my friends, another step forwards. Bye bye.